Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all for hanging with me on this Tuesday. So this is the time of year where the bass are going to start acting completely different about how they set up around cover and structure. So I'm a big time flipper. That's something I've done my entire fishing life down in Florida, here on the Tennessee River, and pretty much all over the country, because every lake has some type of flipping bite at some time in the year. Now, if you have a lot of grass on your lake, a flipping bite will work year round. It's going to change a little bit, and I want to talk about how it changes from the summer to the fall, because you need to be a little bit careful when you go out there flipping. So in the summer and the early fall period, you still have warm water. The bass aren't all going to get pelagic and start chasing bait all around. A lot of them will still relate to the structure. So when you have fish that are sitting on those contour changes, the grass is going to grow off out into the deeper water and stop at a certain depth. Right before it stops, it makes a hard edge, and bass love an edge. So they will get on that hard line of grass that falls off into deeper water. And that's really strong in the summer and the early fall. But there's a point in time where a bass loses his mind and isn't worried about staying on a contour change anymore. He's worried about swimming all over the place for bait. So the flipping the jig thing that you see a lot on this channel is for that edge. And when they start to push up, that's when I like a Texas rig, AKA punching. So I'm going to give you my hook, my setup, and kind of explain to you a few things that I do differently. That big jig is great when bass relating to structure. Punching is great when you don't know where they're going to go. And if you and look how fat that bass is. Oh my God. Flipping 1.25 ounces with a Gambler Stinger. My microphone died, so sorry about the audio. That's a chunk. I mean, 5 like that, that's 20 pounds. I mean, that is 4-pounder all day, and it's not 18 inches long. Healthy bass on a flipping. If you live on a flatter lake, you understand how much more consistent the punching bite is, and that you may not even really have a big jig bite other than the pre-spawn where they stop on reeds or something like that. But the jig bite is all about a stopping place. So it could be the creek channel up against a flat where there's grass, or reeds, pads, where you can make a few flips, and if they're not there, they're gone. You're not going to relocate those fish. The punching fish are more of a timing and condition type fish. So you want some sun. Clouds will sometimes get those fish to roam around, and wind can sometimes be tough, but my setup changes completely different between the two. So I go to a little bit heavier action rod when I'm punching. I like an extra heavy rod when I'm flipping that big jig, and I like an extra heavy rod when I'm punching. So I go from like a 6 power to a 7 power when I'm punching, and then I go up in line as well. So the big jig is all about the fall. I like 50-pound tests, but when I'm punching, I like 65. There's a little bit heavier stuff you're fishing. Fish can get a little bit more torque around reed heads, lily pads, other types of vegetation. And I also think that consistently making your bait fall in little spots is a big deal with punching. So that 65-pound test, if you're flipping around wind, it's easier to be accurate with that 65. 50, I'm not so much concerned about making the perfect pitch. I'm pitching in general areas with that 50 with the big jig, and I would rather have my bait fall quicker than be more consistent where I'm putting it. So 65, and a lot of times it's not the fall that gets the bites punching or how it falls. It's more so a reaction bite. It doesn't matter so much. Punch skirt or no skirt, they're gonna bite it if it drops on their head. And a lot of times they get it when you're pulling it back up to the top of the mat. So 65-pound test anytime I'm punching, and a high-speed reel with both of these techniques, it doesn't matter. Anytime you're fishing something slow on the bottom, 7-to-1 gear ratio, you need to be able to pull these fish out and still have a strong enough reel to get them out. So I don't like to go above a 7-1 because I don't want too fast of a handle because sometimes you'll break your handle if you have a really, really big fish. So that's it. That's punching. Very consistent this time of year when you have fish roaming all over the flats. Try that. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.